morning, and welcome to this edition of City Chat with City Magazine. Today, we are visiting with our June cover person, Mr. Kilee Jenkinson. How are you today?
I'm great. It's great to be the cover model for City Magazine.
Well, yeah, you're the cover. You're now new Mr. Celebrity.
Well, briefly, you know.
Oh, it's funny because everybody will always say, I always get that comment back from the cover people saying, "No, it's so crazy. How many people read the magazine?" And
people stop you on the street?
Yeah, exactly, because you're going to be the head.
I had no idea.
Well, and what's really cool too is this is actually the first edition where City Chat with City Magazine from the radio show is now on TV. So
now you're doing video too.
We're doing video too, and this is going to air on TV on Dakota Media Access. So wave to the camera.
Hey everyone.
Hi everyone. There we go. Well, okay. So you are the director for the Dakota Institute, which is the Lewis and Clark Fort Mandan Foundation. Tell us about the Dakota Institute.
Well, it's a division of the Lewis and Clark Fort Mandan Foundation. And when I came back to North Dakota 5 years ago, David Borlaug and I sat down and we worked out a plan of things that we would like to accomplish in our careers. And I wanted to do documentary films.
Okay.
And I wanted to create a press, an actual first-rate regional or national press located in North Dakota.
Wow.
And a series of symposiums and so on. Mm-hmm. So we've done 2 documentary films so far, one on former Governor Art Link.
Okay.
When the Landscape is Quiet Again.
Yep.
And then we did one on former Governor Bill Guy.
Okay.
And now we're working on 3 other documentaries, the first of which is on the Schaefer family, Harold and Shyla and Ed.
That is perfect.
Yeah, it's an extraordinary. She's one of the most amazing people I've ever met in my life.
I agree.
Question.
I agree.
And I've interviewed her for 35 hours, and I've gotten 34 hours and 48 minutes of usable tape.
Oh, of course.
She's a perfect interview.
She can continue to talk and talk. I had her on when she was on the cover a while ago. We had her on City Chat, and our half-hour show went to an hour and 15 minutes.
And she made me take her down to the Christmas display of lights.
Oh.
Because her cover was...
Yes, her cover was
at
the
Sertoma
feature.
Park.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, anyway, she's an amazing. We're doing the Schaefer family, and then we're doing a Sister Thomas film.
Wow, very good one.
But particularly from the perspective of her life as a Benedictine sister, much more than her work as a college president.
Well, her work as a college president has been documented a little bit. I mean, to this quite a bit, but there is that quieter side. She is a sister.
I've never seen her anywhere when she didn't say the perfect thing. Asked to do an invocation, asked to make a comment. And there's a grace there that I think has to be the Holy Spirit speaking through her. I've never met anyone quite like her in my life.
I will never forget the first day I met her while I was touring the campus out at the University of Mary. Then that was in April. And then I came back to school. I came to school there that August, September. And she remembered me. Oh, how's your mom and dad? How's Daryl and Janet doing? And I'm just like, you really seriously remembered me? I mean, it is the grace of God.
She has that gift. And then we're finally doing one on the late Eric Sevareid, a CBS News commentator. And we hosted that giant symposium about Sevareid last year.
And wasn't it September, August of
September, and it was in conjunction with the North Dakota Humanities Council, Brenna Doherty, and also BSC.
Okay. So what is the purpose of the Dakota Institute then?
Well, here's what I want to do. I moved back to North Dakota. I love this place. I think North Dakota doesn't take itself seriously enough culturally, and that we have this extraordinary history. Mm-hmm. We don't, I think, examine it enough. I also think that we're at a crossroads. It turns out to be a much, much bigger crossroads than I anticipated.
Okay, and how
so?
Here
we are. Well, we're moving from our agrarian, traditional phase of our history.
Yes.
1889 to 1989, roughly. Mm-hmm. And now we're in a post-agrarian phase. For the first 20 years, that was characterized by out-migration and agricultural depression and real anxiety in the character of the people of North Dakota about what are we going to be?
Yeah, what's our state going to be like?
When you cease to be that great farm state that we always were, now what? Well, now we see what it is. The energy sector is not just booming; it's exploding. It's a Hiroshima style.
Yeah, there's really no way to almost describe it, but you did perfectly there.
Well, a friend of mine, Niles Hushka, who runs a giant engineering company, said it can't be fathomed. This is a tsunami that is rolling over North Dakota. It's changing everything. Mm-hmm. It's making us rich per capita.
Yep.
That's good and bad. It's creating an industrial wasteland in certain respects in the most beautiful part of North Dakota.
The Badlands.
It's creating some social pressures on places like Williston and Dickinson and Stanley and Ross and Watford City and Killdeer. It's mostly good news, but it comes at a huge price, and we aren't, in my opinion, we are not managing this very thoughtfully yet. We're still in the giddy honeymoon phase.
We're in like, oh my gosh, we're getting all this money
We're
in.
rich.
We're huge. We're going to be able to support the nation, basically, with the energy that we can produce.
Yeah, we're going to be the richest state per capita soon. And it's magnificent because it's allowing us to catch up with our salaries for our state employees and professors and teachers. Our infrastructure will improve. Cultural institutions like the State Heritage Center are going to be enabled by this.
Yes, for sure.
So all that is good.
Yep.
But with the good comes a gigantic adjustment, a revolution in the way we see this place, the way this landscape looks, and I think in the character of the people of North Dakota. So the Dakota Institute exists to ask questions like that.
Okay.
Or what are our relations with American Indians, and why are they so dysfunctional?
Okay.
And what is the future of agriculture? What's the future of education? So we want to ask questions about this place and its history and its traditions and its future, but in a thoughtful, entertaining, compelling way, nonpartisan.
And then putting it in some sort of like documentary or books or okay. I see.
Symposium. So we're doing one in the fall on 9/11. It'll be the 10th anniversary. It's going to be a huge symposium.
That is going to be amazing, and it's just, I mean, to think that there actually is connection between, the prairies and, 9/11. I mean, I've heard that there's pretty significant people that live here in the Bismarck-Mandan area that were head of some TOPS organizations that were scheduled to be on the top floor of that building the day that it happened, and by the grace of God, they had a conference call on the other side of town.
We want to hear those stories.
Yes.
And we, of course, North Dakotans participate really profoundly in our military. This is the heartland where people volunteer for the military in a way that they don't in other places, and so families here have been affected by this by second, third, fourth goings back to Afghanistan or Iraq.
Very greatly. Very greatly.
It's the 10th anniversary, and anniversaries are important. So we want to step back and say, what has the impact been on the heartland, on the Constitution, on the way we see Islamic Americans and the Islamic world? On our traveling, I travel all the time. It's affected my life enormously.
Well, I'm sure. So let's talk a little bit about your life. Like, how did you become to what you are? You mean you're a humanities scholar? So first of all, like, what exactly is that, and how did you get to that point?
Well, a humanities scholar is a professor of English who doesn't teach in a college, I suppose you'd say.
Okay.
I'm a public scholar.
Okay.
I spent some time as a professor, but I really wanted to do public work because I'm a Jefferson lover, and Jefferson believed that the whole world is only workable if we bring all of our intelligence to it all of the time, and that academics are important. They do really important work, but they largely talk to each other. And so I wanted to talk to the world, to the people that I respect, and I'm a North Dakotan. So how did I get here? I was born in Dickinson.
Wow.
And I grew up in North Dakota, and I left for a period of time, as many do. But I always thought, how will I get home, and what will I do if I actually go home?
So what did you do when you were away?
I was a professor, and then I became a performer. I'm a Jefferson performer, and I do other characters, Lewis and Theodore Roosevelt and John Wesley Powell and J. Robert Oppenheimer and others. And so I had a career as kind of a public speaker and a historical impersonator, and a writer and a lecturer, and I taught at colleges and so on. But all that time, I thought, I want to go home, but when I get there, I want to do something that matters. And so finally, my friend Jim Fugely said, look, if you're not coming, you're not coming. But if you're coming, come. Get it over with. Do it. We'll figure it out. And then, so I came home 5 years ago, and it's been absolutely unbelievable, the opportunities that have been made possible for me, and the work I've had a chance to do, and the work I will get to do in the next 10 or 15 years.
Well, now, you did mention about Thomas Jefferson and how you run a personality, and you have the Thomas and Jefferson Hour. So when did that officially start?
About 15 years ago in Reno, Nevada. But then when I came home, I went to my friend David Swenson just up the street at Makoche Studios. And actually, the first day I got home, I went into his office there, and I said, I want to work with you.
Very cool.
That was it. I mean, just like that. I want to work with you.